Incredible twist. Single dad's heroic act for dying stranger reveals shocking CEO connection. Jack wiped his brow, the summer sun descending like a fiery ball on the small Midwestern town. He was finishing up a brake job on an old Chevy when a sudden commotion outside the shop snagged his attention. A crowd murmured as he stepped out, his worn hands still grease-stained, heart hammering at the sight before him. A young woman, pale and still, lay on the pavement. Panic ignited inside him. Without a second thought, Jack rushed over, adrenaline surging as he knelt beside her. He felt the familiar weight of his father's lessons flood his mind. Be brave, act when it matters. Jack's hands trembled slightly as he performed CPR, counting in his head. Time dripped like molasses. He noticed the glimmering pendant around the woman's neck, the flashy logo of a corporation that had haunted dinner conversations during his youth, one that had caused his father years of distress. The rush of memories hit him like a fist. He pushed harder, fighting against the memory of his father's weary face etched with disappointment after learning the news of yet another layoff. When the woman's chest finally heaved and color returned to her cheeks, relief washed over him, but quickly turned to a different tide as she regained consciousness. She was Claire, the sole heir to the very corporation that had discarded his hard-working friends. Jack's heart pounded, not from the rush of saving her, but from the waves of betrayal and anger crashing against his resolve. How do you reconcile every story his father told him with the woman who represented the heart of that suffering? Days passed, leaving Jack with a heavy weight. Claire, still recovering, expressed remorse for her family's legacy. She claimed to want to right the wrongs, to use her privilege to create change for workers like his father. But Jack hesitated, insight battling against an awakening curiosity. How could she hope to change a company hardwired for profit? The intensity of his conflicting feelings left him restless. Just as he began to contemplate Claire's intentions, news jolted him awake. Her family corporation planned to lay off a significant portion of its workforce. His hands curled around the coffee cup he often sipped in the evenings, the very mug that had once belonged to his father, as anguish crept beneath his skin. The thought of facing Claire, of confronting her about this betrayal, nagged at him, a storm of anger and uncertainty swirling deep inside. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jack stood at his workbench, shadows stretching across the floor as he poured his heart into writing a speech for the upcoming town hall meeting. Each word felt heavy with his father's legacy, his daughter's future, and the crushing fear of losing everything. Would revealing the truth mean separating himself from Claire once and for all? Would it threaten to unravel whatever fragile bond they were forging? The weight of it all constricted around him with every keystroke, leaving him gasping for clarity. His phone buzzed, the screen lighting up with Claire's name. He froze, thoughts racing. If she was willing to help fight against the cuts, could trust be woven from the fabric of betrayal? But as doubt gnawed at his insides, he knew he was on the brink of a decision that could alter the course of their lives. Would he stand for his community, or risk everything for a tantalizing glimmer of hope that might evaporate in the corporate storm? Jack's breath quickened, the clock ticking as he reached for the phone, knowing that this call could change everything. The moment Jack pressed the green button on his phone, a mixture of hope and dread coursed through him. Claire's voice came through, rich with sincerity and urgency. "Jack, I think we need to meet. There's more at stake than you know." He almost pulled back, mired in uncertainty. How could he trust her? Yet the intensity in her tone ignited a flicker of possibilities within him. "Okay, let's meet," he forced out, each word like a boulder tumbling down a steep hill. They agreed to meet at a diner just off the main road, a little corner where the townsfolk gathered to exchange gossip over steaming cups of coffee. Jack arrived first, the familiar smells of bacon and burnt toast clashing with the anxious knots twisting in his stomach. He settled into a booth, his fingers tapping nervously on the scratched wooden table. Claire entered shortly after, her presence bright yet weighted by the undertones of their past. When she slid into the seat across from him, Jack saw her cheeks flush, not from embarrassment, but from determination. "Thank you for coming," she began, her voice steady. "I know we have a complicated history, but I can't let my family destroy lives. I really want to push for change, but I need someone who understands these workers, their struggles." Her words hung between them, thick with the promise of collaboration and betrayal. Jack felt the walls he'd erected begin to crack. "You say you want to help, but your family is planning layoffs. How can you expect me to believe you?" His words cut through the air, raw with frustration. "Because I don't hold the final say. I'm just as much a victim of this legacy as anyone else." The fire in her eyes caught him off guard. "I've been doing research. I've been gathering information on how we can make necessary changes, but I need you to help me understand the workers better, to find out what will truly make a difference." Jack leaned back, weighing her earnestness against the backdrop of his memories. Could someone born into privilege actually comprehend the struggles that his family endured? Yet there was something in her gaze that sparked a glimmer of hope. Was it possible they could forge an alliance? "Let's say I take a chance," he replied, barely above a whisper. "What's your plan?" Claire took a deep breath, and her fingers danced over the table. "We can address the board. If we present a united front of workers' needs and ethical policies, it might change their minds. But to convince them, we need concrete examples, testimonies from those affected. That's where you come in." Jack felt a rush of confidence and vulnerability all at once. The stakes were climbing, and he could either remain stagnant, letting the past dictate his path, or take action that could reshape the future, for workers and for his daughter. What if they refuse to listen? Then we fight. Claire's conviction rang strong. "I'm not backing down until I know I've tried everything possible." The resolve in her words resonated deep within him. As their conversation developed, Jack found himself unraveling not just the complexities of corporate dynamics, but also his inner battle with resentment and his desire for justice. Still, a nagging hesitation lingered. Trust was an elusive thread, and he would need to tread carefully. Just then, the diner's door swung open, a gust of wind bringing in a cold shiver and the sound of distant sirens, an omen perhaps, a reminder of how quickly everything could change. "Jack," Claire said, drawing him from his thoughts, "we need to get to work." As they mapped out their strategy, an unexpected fire ignited within him, an amalgamation of pain, hope, and determination. But could he overcome the fears that had held him back? Would he find the courage to act, or would the looming threat of corporate indifference snuff out their efforts? Jack looked up, scanning the diner where familiar faces occupied booths all around, each one a reminder of lives intertwined with his own. The moment had come to face not just the world outside, but the man he could become. The next phase of their mission awaited, and as he gathered his thoughts, he realized this was just the beginning of something far greater than he had prepared for. "Are you ready for this?" Claire asked, the challenge igniting a cautious excitement within him. "Because it's going to be harder than we think." Tension gripped him as he nodded, well aware of the reality ahead. And as they planned their next steps, a chilling thought crossed his mind. What if exposing the truth about Claire's family led to their downfall instead? Jack's heart raced as he and Claire dove deeper into their plans. Each proposal she laid before him felt more precarious than the last, a tightrope act with no safety net. They discussed drafting a proposal that highlighted the workers' grievances as systematically as each section of the company's budget. Though she seemed prepared, he couldn't shake the feeling that the ground beneath them was shifting. They separated after several hours, agreeing to reconvene the next day. As Jack walked home, the weight of the evening's revelations pressed down on him, creating a knot within his chest. Claire had spoken with a passion that was hard to ignore, igniting a flicker of purpose in him he hadn't felt in years. Determination battled with doubt as memories of his daughter swirled in his mind. He wanted to pave a better future for her, but was he jumping into a hurricane? The next morning, Jack stood in front of the mirror, attempting to muster the confidence to tackle the task ahead. He methodically went through the motions of getting ready, coffee brewing in the background as the day's agenda played over in his mind. Clothes on, dishes washed, he felt more like a soldier preparing for battle than a father struggling with self-doubt. As he turned to leave, his phone buzzed, Claire's name lighting up the screen. "Hey, are you ready for our meeting with the workers this afternoon? I think it's going to be crucial," her tone vivid with urgency. "Sure," he replied, trying to project calm even as he felt a storm of anxiety. "What have you found?" "I just think your perspective is invaluable. They need to hear about your experiences. You've been on the inside," she replied, her voice firm yet encouraging. It struck a chord. Jack had lived through the hardships that came with being part of the workforce. His insights could help bridge the gap between those struggling to make ends meet and the upper management oblivious to their plight. The drive to the meeting felt longer than usual. The road became a treacherous journey through his emotions. As he pulled into the parking lot, a sudden weight of fear settled in his stomach. What if he misrepresented the workers? What if he didn't convey their struggles with adequate depth? Once inside, Jack found the assembly of faces staring back, expressions a mix of hopefulness and skepticism. Claire stood before them, commanding yet relatable, introducing him as someone who genuinely understood their plight. He could feel the eyes fixed on him as she backed away, lending the stage to him. Jack's voice faltered, a wave of vulnerability washing over him as he stared into the crowd. He could either shrink back into obscurity or rise to this challenge like never before. Taking a deep breath, he began to speak, recounting the moments that had defined his career, the long nights spent wrestling with uncertainty and fear for his family's future. Each word he spoke stirred emotion within the room. He could see the workers nodding in agreement as they related to his struggles. Something began to shift within him. He wasn't just fighting for others. He was rediscovering a piece of himself that had been buried under the rubble of resentment and despair. After the meeting, Jack felt a mixture of elation and exhaustion. They had made progress, energized by the truths shared. But as he stepped outside the building, a shadow crossed his mind. Claire had mentioned an upcoming board meeting, and the thought of presenting the workers' concerns to her family left doubt gnawing at his newfound resolve. Would he have the courage to stand up against the very structure that had perpetuated his own struggles? Pacing back and forth outside, he suddenly realized he was at a deadline, a moment wherein decisions would redefine not just his life, but the lives of many around him. Could he challenge the status quo and keep his daughter's future secure at the same time? As these thoughts spiraled in his mind, his phone buzzed again. The text read, "I found something you need to see. Meet me ASA." Jack's heart thumped in his chest. What lay ahead could change everything. Would he be prepared for the revelations awaiting him? Jack felt a rush of conflicting emotions. The message was like a beacon in the fog of his uncertainty, pulling him away from the turmoil of the meeting and into the unknown. Who had sent it? What could they possibly have to share that might alter the course of his already tumultuous day? The company's office slipped from his mind as he stepped back into the world outside, urgency driving him forward. He climbed into his car and fired up the engine, every moment feeling crucial. The streets rushed past, but even amidst the whir of tires and the chatter of everyday life, the noise in Jack's head grew louder. Was he truly ready to confront whatever awaited him? His growing sense of responsibility to the workers contrasted sharply with escalating anxiety about the decisions ahead. Arriving at a quaint cafe on the edge of town, he spotted Claire sitting anxiously at a small table, her hands fidgeting with the edges of her notepad. The urgency in her expression fueled his worry, yet also excited his curiosity. "Jack, there you are," she said, her voice barely concealing the tension beneath. "You won't believe what I found." He slid into the seat across from her, leaning in as she quickly thrust a folder across the table. "What's this?" He picked it up, flipping it open to reveal a collection of documents, emails, memos, and reports from within the company. "These are communications from the board," Claire began, her eyes shining with determination. "They outline plans to cut costs at the expense of workers' benefits and safety measures. We need to bring this to light. It's disgusting how they prioritize profit over people." Jack skimmed the pages, unease rising within him. He had always known the company mistreated its employees, but this evidence painted a darker picture than he had expected. The choice to overlook these injustices was no longer an option. He felt the weight of an impending moral crossroads. "But if we go public with this, it risks everything," he said quietly, his mind racing with the consequences. "My job, your family, even your relationship with the board." The implications were daunting, but the thought of inaction paralyzed him further. Was he willing, yet again, to silently witness the erosion of integrity within the company? Claire's gaze hardened, the fire in her eyes unmistakable. What's at stake here isn't just us. It's about everyone who depends on the company for their livelihood. We can't sit idly while they treat people like tools. Her convictions sparked something deep inside Jack. The darker elements of his soul tugged at him, battling against the urge to protect himself first. Could he really become the conduit for change instead of a passive observer? A moment of silence enveloped them, heavy with decision and potential consequences. He took a deep breath, seeing not just the risk, but the chance to redefine himself, to reclaim the father he wanted to be for his daughter. "Okay, let's do it," he said, surprising even himself with his determination. A surge of adrenaline coursed through him. But as conviction settled in, a nagging thought lingered. What could their revelation provoke? The board, powerful and strategic, might not react kindly to such threats. Jack's resolve to challenge the powers that be galvanized him, yet an opposing tension simmered beneath the surface. Suddenly, from the corner of his eye, he noticed someone watching them. A man dressed in an impeccably tailored suit. A subtle brows raise in recognition. A figure he knew too well. Alex, a board member, an ally turned adversary. "Claire, we might have company," he murmured. Time was slipping away. Not just for them, but for everyone whose voice went unheard. Would they emerge unscathed from this conflict, or was a greater storm brewing just beyond the horizon? Jack felt a sudden shift in the air around him. He glanced at Claire, unspoken thoughts hanging between them, the stakes climbing higher than ever. The moment of truth was quickly approaching. Would they stand tall in their truth, or would the looming shadow of corporate power squash their efforts? As Jack's heart pounded in his chest, he understood one thing clearly. This was merely the beginning. The battle for integrity within the company was just about to unfold, and he was caught in its relentless grip. Would he have the strength to navigate the treacherous waters ahead? Jack's breath quickened as he caught a glimpse of Alex's steely gaze penetrating the air between them. He could feel a cold chill crawl up his spine, a primal instinct whispering that their conversation had attracted unwanted attention. The stakes were already high, but now a palpable tension seeped in from the outside world. "We can't talk here," he said, urgency lacing his voice. Claire nodded, her eyes darting towards Alex, who seemed to be feigning interest in a menu while eavesdropping. Jack stood, gesturing for Claire to follow as he made his way toward the cafe's back exit, heart hammering against his ribs, fueled by fear and resolve alike. Once outside, the bustling city background faded, replaced by a softer ambiance, but the intensity coursing through Jack amplified the sounds of bustling footsteps and distant car horns. They rounded the corner and paused, finding a momentary sanctuary beneath an overhanging tree. What do you think he overheard? Claire's voice wavered slightly, but her eyes held firm. I don't know, but we have to be prepared for anything, Jack replied, the possibility of being cornered by the board weighing heavily on him. It was here, in this quiet block, that he recognized his determination was forged by a more profound purpose. He had always taken pride in navigating the corporate world, but now the stakes transcended mere job security. Jack's passion for protecting the workforce struck deeply at the core of his professional identity. A sense of awakening stirred within him. He was no longer the silent observer, but an active participant in the shaping of his company's ethics. Claire's determination mirrored his own, igniting a fire within him. We need to go through these documents and prepare a solid case, she stated, determination etched on her face. If we're going to challenge the board, we have to be strategic. We need allies. The challenge ahead loomed like a mountain peak, shrouded in uncertainty, but Jack's burgeoning sense of agency pushed him to consider the alliances he'd take for granted. There were whispers of more dissatisfaction among employees. Perhaps they weren't the only ones feeling trapped. What if we reach out to a few trusted colleagues? Jack suggested, his mind racing. People who have seen behind the curtain but are too scared to speak up. Exactly, Claire matched his enthusiasm. If we can gather more evidence and testimonies about the board's decisions, we might spread awareness. We can create a ripple effect. The idea of unity sparked hope within Jack, a concept he had lost sight of in the complexities of corporate hierarchy. Starting with whispers to trusted peers could forge connections into a network strong enough to challenge a Goliath. But as he considered the implications of their actions, anxiety tangled within his thoughts. The path they were treading was risky, and the power wielded by the board was formidable. Turning to Claire, Jack felt a wave of determination wash over him, a moment when he realized the weight of choice rested in his hands. We need to do this carefully. Every word matters. If we play our cards right, we can expose what's happening without endangering ourselves too much. Claire nodded, a flicker of admiration crossing her face. Her faith in his ability to chart a course through these stormy waters invigorated him. But with each strategy they plotted and every word written down, Jack sensed, lurking in the shadows, would he remain true to his moral compass when faced with retaliatory tactics from the board? Just as they began to brainstorm, his phone buzzed with an obscure notification. Jack glanced down, the blood draining from his face as he recognized the sender's name, Alex. What could he want, and what did he know about Jack's plotting? As unease washed over him, the clarity of his resolve faced a disquieting truth. Would the bravery he sought put him at odds with not only the board, but the very nature of his identity? With a stealing breath, Jack turned to Claire. We have to meet with someone immediately, someone who might help us understand the board's next move. Jack could feel the stakes shifting like tides, and as he stepped back into the frenetic rhythm of the street, he knew that the moment to face Alex was fast approaching. Would he discover the true extent of the corporate game being played, or would it lead to unforeseen consequences that threatened everything he stood for? Jack stood frozen for a moment, his phone still buzzing in his hand, but his mind raced with possibilities. Alex wasn't just a board member, he was a master of manipulative tactics. The way he had scrutinized Jack's every move was like the predator circling its prey. Jack quickly glanced at Claire, who seemed to read the urgency bubbling beneath his skin. Let's get indoors, Jack said, leading her toward a nearby office building, hoping that the dull, sterile walls would provide a temporary shield against the outside chaos. As they entered, the hum of fluorescent lights buzzed like an anxious swarm, mirroring Jack's escalating tension. "It'll be just a few more minutes," he said, as they stepped into an unoccupied conference room. Once the door clicked shut, Jack took a deep breath, trying to ground himself. "We need to think clearly. I don't trust this message, especially not now." Claire shifted uneasily in her seat, her fingers tapping on the table. "You think it's a warning or a setup?" "Both," Jack replied. "He's too strategic to make a move without a reason. He's aware we're conspiring." The words sat heavy on his tongue. Missteps were dangerous, and any slip could cost them dearly. Jack rifled through the documents they had gathered, files of discontent swirling with testimonies and unofficial reports of the board's decisions that hinted at long-term repercussions for the workforce. "We need leverage," he said, the thought forming a solid weight in his chest, something they can't easily dismiss. As he organized the papers, a wave of doubt crashed onto him. Had his ambition clouded his judgment? The project was no longer a simple act of loyalty to employees. The consequences could ripple outwards, touching every person he cared about. "What are you thinking?" Claire's voice snapped him back into focus, her eyes probing for a semblance of clarity. "I'm trying to find a balance between strategic thinking and risky moves," he admitted. "But if Alex is baiting us, we have to play it smart." Just as he finished speaking, his phone buzzed again. Against his better judgment, he unlocked the screen and read Alex's message. "Meet me at Fifth Avenue Cafe. I know what you're planning." The digital words froze the moment, thickening the atmosphere like fog. "Why would he summon you?" Claire's tone was sharp, her intuition tinged with caution. Jack wondered how much Alex had uncovered about their plans, or, worse, if he had an informant within their ranks. His mind flipped through a roster of potential spies. Faces scrolled across his memory, but none offered solace. "Because he wants to manipulate this," Jack said, his voice steadier than he felt. "It's a game. If I show up, I can control the narrative. He may think he holds all the cards, but he's underestimating us." "Jack, it could be a trap," Claire cautioned. "I know," he acknowledged, weighing his options, the tension coiling tighter. "But I need to confront him. It's risky, but if he knows what we're doing, we can't back down. I have to expose him and what he represents." With every tick of the clock echoing in his mind, Jack realized this moment was more than a mere strategy. It was about reclaiming his essence, understanding where he stood, not just within the corporation, but within himself. "Let's prepare," he said, adrenaline fueling his awareness. "We'll take what we know and flip the conversation. We won't just be reactive, we'll be proactive." As the reality of the imminent meeting settled in, an electrifying tension sparked in Jack's chest. He recognized how endangered and exhilarating it felt to reclaim initiative, even when facing a looming threat. Ready for any backlash, he steeled himself for the confrontation ahead. The moment of truth felt close, but it would require vigilance and unshakable resolve to break through the facade Alex maintained. Jack shot a determined look at Claire. "If I'm going to meet with him, I need you to handle everything we've gathered in my absence. If I don't come back—" "Don't you dare think like that," she interjected, her eyes fierce and unwavering. "You're going in there to win. You have this." Before they left the room, Jack felt his heart thrumming louder, chasing away any lingering doubt. He was no longer just a corporate pawn. He was a player in a high-stakes game, and the board was shifting in ways even Alex hadn't anticipated. Ready to step into the lion's den, Jack took a deep breath, knowing that this confrontation could either shatter or solidify everything he had fought for. The time had come to face Alex head-on. Would he emerge a victor or bear the weight of his miscalculation? As they approached the cafe, Jack felt a whirlpool of emotions surface: anticipation, dread, and a lingering fear of what revelations awaited him. Nothing was certain, not even what his own resolve might demand of him. Knew this. The moment to challenge fate had finally arrived. Jack pushed through the cafe door, a jingle announcing his entrance like a tolling bell heralding a significant event. The scent of coffee and fresh pastries mingled in the air, But the usual warmth of the cafe felt foreign against the icy grip of tension in his chest. He scanned the room, searching for Alex amid the scattered patrons engrossed in their laptops and conversations. There he was, seated at a table in the corner, a casual yet commanding presence. Alex leaned back, his fingers swirling a steaming cup, brow arched as if he were waiting for a grand performance to begin. Jack steeled himself, clenching his fists to steady the rising unease. Claire's words echoed in his mind. This was a trap. Yet instinct stirred. This could also be an opportunity to pierce through the layers of deceit that draped Alex's intentions. Jack approached, commanding himself to hold on to a facade of calm even as the stakes escalated with each step. Jack, right on time. Alex flashed a disarming smile. It didn't reach his eyes. Please, have a seat. Jack settled into the chair opposite, forcing his posture to relax. The anticipation quivered in the air, and an unspoken tension vibrated between them. You said you know what I'm planning, Jack began, looking directly into Alex's piercing gaze, an act of defiance rather than submission. What do you want? Oh, it's not about what I want, Alex replied, calm and measured. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice to get what you want. You see, I respect ambition, but ambition without caution often leads to destruction. Jack pushed back against the insinuation. I'm not afraid to play hardball. Very good, Alex mused, stirring the coffee as if deep in thought. But consider this. The project you're pursuing isn't just about loyalty. It's about your career as well. What happens when the board decides to back my vision instead of yours? Where will that leave you? Jack felt a tremor of doubt, but he crushed it down. Was this merely a tactic, or did Alex truly possess information that could unravel everything he'd worked for? Beating around the bush won't help either of us. Let's get to the point. What exactly do you know? Alex leaned forward, his tone shifting to a challenging whisper. Let's say I have more than just intuition. I have people watching you. People who might take a few choice comments from the break room and use them against you. You're still seen as the new guy, and the shiny new toys are always the first to be discarded when they break. The implication sank deeper than Jack intended to admit. His pulse quickened as analytics and emotions clashed within him. Was this the maneuvering he needed to counteract, or was Alex genuinely offering a glimmer of warning amid the darkness? Why would you tell me this? What's your stake in all of this? Jack prodded. You're a wild card, Jack. One that could either ignite the board's stagnant approach or leave it in ashes. You could either build a better foundation or take down the entire structure. Believe me, there's no pleasure in watching you crash and burn. Alex's gray eyes narrowed, probing. Yet, I need to know where you stand. Would you ride this wave for your vision, even if it means navigating through murky waters? Or will you play it safe, fall in line, and lose your chance for greatness? Jack's heart quickened as he recognized a flicker of challenge, something that ignited a deeper determination within him. There was a latent doubt, yes, but beneath it also lay an unrelenting drive to stand firm. I won't lose sight of what truly matters, Jack said, finding his voice. The project isn't just about me, it's for the people depending on this decision. Success comes from those willing to fight for it, and I'm ready for the fight. Such conviction. In this game of chess, it's clear you're no mere pawn. A smile crept onto Alex's face, betraying a hint of amusement and respect. But remember, every knight faces threats from both above and below. With that statement hanging in the air, the weight of uncertainty buried itself deeper into Jack's instincts. The turn of this encounter was neither favorable nor detrimental. It was just the beginning of a labyrinth of calculations yet to unfold. As he finished his coffee and prepared to stand, a sudden memory struck him. messages and connections he hadn't considered. Was Claire right about an insider? A flash of an old colleague flickered through his mind. Would this thread reach deeper than the boardroom? Jack froze, grappling with the implications. "Wait," Jack said, hesitating. "What if we could disrupt your plans as well?" A glint ignited in Alex's eyes. Intrigue piqued. "Interesting proposition," he said slowly. "But are you ready to gamble with your integrity, Jack? Sometimes the answer lies in the unseen consequences." The ground beneath him shifted precariously, leaving Jack teetering on the brink of a decision that would alter everything, both personally and professionally. Stepping back into the fray of this unpredictable game left him questioning who truly had the upper hand. The match was far from over, and the next move held the secrets of his fate, awakening a new urgency to uncover what Alex truly knew. Jack left the cafe, the door swinging shut behind him with an unsettling clang, as if sealing in the tension that had woven through his conversation with Alex. His mind raced, conjuring up possibilities that spiraled into confusion. The morning sun, now bold and unwavering, poured into the streets, illuminated his path, yet masked the shadows lurking in the corners of his thoughts. He had entered the cafe seeking clarity, a stable ground to strategize his next steps. Instead, he was thrust into a web of uncertainty. Alex's words echoed like a metronome, ticking down the moments until decisions had to be made. Standing still, Jack felt the dissonance within him, a mix of courage and trepidation, ambition and doubt. His grip on that ambitious vision had to tighten. To falter was to hand control to someone like Alex, who thrived on manipulation. The distant sound of traffic faded as he found a bench in a nearby park, where the hum of life carried a deceptive air of normalcy. He took a deep breath, centering himself. This was about more than just his career. It was about proving to himself that he was capable of facing the storm. Jack had to redefine his relationship with risk and ambition. With the stakes elevated, complacency was no longer an option. He thought of Claire, her voice a lifeline that pulled him back from self-doubt. There was strength in his network, and he had to dive deep rather than second-guess himself in solitude. Perhaps Alex's warnings were a facade, a way to throw him off balance, but even if they contained a grain of truth, it prompted a moment of reflection. Jack grabbed his phone, sending a text to Claire, proposing a meeting. He knew he couldn't fully navigate the upcoming challenges without her insight. In her, he found clarity. Her expertise had always been a calming influence in the chaos of corporate strategy. Minutes later, a ping responded from his phone, a simple agreement. The adrenaline surged, igniting his inner fire. After a brisk walk to the office, Jack sought solace in the familiar ground of spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations. Each click of the keyboard was a step toward reclaiming his narrative. He pulled up the project materials, combing through insights and data that could solidify his case against the stagnant proposals from Alex's camp. An hour slipped by as he immersed himself in statistical analyses and potential projections, letting numbers become a shield against uncertainty. But then a nagging thought crept in, disguised as self-doubt. Was he merely chasing shadows, or was he genuinely capable of organizing a genuine shift in the corporate environment? Facing adversity had been a hurdle throughout his career, yet here it felt different. It was more personal, more at stake. The fight was for himself as much as it was for the people involved in the project. Fortifying his mindset, Jack pondered how to utilize Alex's arrogant confidence against him. What if he could uncover actionable intelligence? He envisioned a strategy, a framework that would leverage the odds back in his favor rather than simply playing defense. Are you ready to gamble with your integrity? The question from Alex resonated again, but now it transformed in Jack's mind. What if he didn't have to gamble at all? Could he create his own path, exploring avenues none had even considered? With renewed focus, Jack set his plan in motion. He'd reach out to former colleagues, former allies who might hold the keys to moving forward. They'd be the pieces on his board, ready to disrupt Alex's strategy with insights unfiltered by company politics. As he finalized his notes, the weight of control shifted within him. He was no longer merely reacting, he was taking the initiative. His phone buzzed again, this time an unexpected message from an unknown number. Curiosity drilled into him, urging Jack to click it open. The message read, "I know what's happening. Meet me tomorrow. I have information that might change everything." Heart racing, Jack stared at the screen, uncertainty once again clawing at his edges. Was this another trap, or had he found an unexpected ally? The chessboard lay before him, and he had yet another choice to make. Would he step forward into the unknown, or retreat into the safety of what he already knew? The tension of the moment beckoned him toward tomorrow, where the path ahead remained cloaked in mystery. Jack awoke the next morning with a knot of anxiety twisting in his stomach. The message lingered heavily in his mind, oscillating between the promise of assistance and the looming threat of a potential trap. As he readied himself for the day, his reflection in the mirror revealed a man grappling with more than just a professional crisis. He was at a crossroads, clutching the remnants of confidence while the specter of self-doubt loomed large. He glanced at the clock, the minutes ticking away with an impatience that paralleled his own thoughts. Today was not just about responding to an ambiguous message. Today was about reclaiming his agency. It was a pivotal step in a strategic game he hadn't anticipated joining. Jack had played the role of a cautious player for too long, but now the stakes demanded a bold move. With each sip of coffee, he mentally prepared himself for the meeting that could change everything. The brief conversation with Alex from the cafe echoed in his mind, reminding him of the risks at hand, yet serving as a catalyst rather than a deterrent. This time, he refused to allow his fear to drive his decisions. He would let curiosity and ambition guide him instead. His day unfolded in a blur, focused solely on retrieving the necessary insights to tip the balance in his favor. He sent emails to former colleagues, threading together pieces of information that might illuminate paths forward. Yet, beneath that surface determination, he found himself wrestling with the implications of the unknown meeting that awaited him. When the time finally came, a blend of excitement and trepidation propelled Jack through the city streets. The cafe was a familiar sanctuary, yet today it felt ominous, the gathering ground for something that could either fortify him or fracture what little stability he had left. As he entered, his eyes scanned the room until they settled on a figure sitting alone at the far corner. An older man, slightly disheveled but with a sharp, calculating gaze. Jack approached, nerves electrifying his movements. "You must be the one who texted me," he said, half in greeting, half in challenge. The man smiled knowingly, extending a hand. "I'm Fletcher. I've been watching you, Jack." His tone was measured, reflecting a careful restraint that piqued Jack's interest, yet also set off alarm bells. "You're at a pivotal moment, one that defines your professional trajectory." Jack took a seat, still skeptical but drawn in by Fletcher's intensity. "What kind of information do you have for me?" "There are forces at play in your company that you're only beginning to understand. Alex is one, and his influence goes deeper than you realize." The man's words struck home, igniting a simmering anger within Jack. Alex had been his rival, but now he was shifting into a formidable adversary, and the stakes of his challenge were steep. "Trusting the wrong people can lead to unpleasant consequences. I can help you navigate this," Fletcher continued, his gaze piercing into Jack's defenses, urging him to consider the gravity of the decision at hand. The thought of progressing under someone's mentorship was thrilling, yet terrifying. Together, they could carve out a strategy that didn't rely on backdoor deals or duplicity, but rather on Jack's innate abilities. Yet the fear emerged again. Was this man truly an ally or merely a playing piece in another game? Jack's mind raced as the options unfolded before him. Could he leverage Fletcher's knowledge without losing his own sense of integrity? This was the kind of opportunity that could either rocket him forward or lead to devastating ruin, and there was no way to discern the outcome without stepping further into the tangled web of corporate politics. Suddenly, the pivotal moment loomed. "What's your proposal?" Jack asked decisively, sensing that the next few steps could redefine everything for him. Fletcher leaned in, a hint of a knowing smile returning to his features. "Let's discuss a plan to confront Alex directly. I have insights that could fundamentally alter the game. But first, are you ready to challenge the status quo in ways you've never considered?" The inviting urgency of the uncharted territory tugged at Jack's professional cynicism while igniting a flicker of hope. Would he be bold enough to break the mold? As they dove deeper into conversation, the foundation of Jack's future started crystallizing amid the uncertainty. Yet within this critical juncture remained a lingering question. Would he find the courage to emerge as a leader in his own right? Or would the weight of expectation and doubt encumber his ambition once more? The answers awaited him in the shadows of his unfolding choices. The chilling winds of change swept through Jack's life as he sat opposite Fletcher, their conversation unfurling like the fabric of a new strategy. Jack was no longer merely a mechanic on the fringes of corporate hierarchy. He was stepping into a role that demanded engagement and courage. The fire ignited within him for the first time felt alive, pressing against the confines of fear that had once held him hostage. With every word of advice Fletcher provided, Jack felt himself transforming. Fletcher spoke of alliances and of recognizing hidden potential within oneself. The confidence Jack had lost in the suffocating atmosphere of corporate politics began to seep back into his veins. Here lay significant possibilities, not just for himself, but for those he aimed to defend, the workers who bore the brunt of indifference. Are you prepared to see this through, Jack? To challenge the very foundations of your past while embracing the promise of something better? Fletcher's words reverberated within him, a clarion call to action. Jack nodded, determination coursing through him like the engine of a finely tuned machine. The resolve solidified as they outlined their plan. Jack found clarity in pinpointing weak links in the board's strategy. Through careful consideration of evidence and the power of collective voices, they could gather enough momentum to sway opinion toward favoring ethics over profit. Soon after, Jack met with Claire again to share this newfound direction. "Fletcher believes we can challenge Alex on more than just his rhetoric. We have the potential to expose the underlying issues that the board overlooks," Jack declared, enthusiasm lighting his eyes. "Well then, what's our first step?" Claire asked, her determination matching the spark igniting within Jack. Each conversation shifted his growing sense of purpose into a focused action plan. Together, they gathered testimonies, facts, and emotional appeals from employees, creating a symphony of personal experiences where voices could once again be heard. In those moments, Jack witnessed something beautiful happen. Doubt began receding, replaced by an unwavering belief in his mission. The tentative gestures he made towards reclaiming agency over his story transformed into a tangible drive for ethical change. His fears became not chains that held him back, but forces that propelled them forward into unfathomable territory. As days turned into nights, Jack became a linchpin in this resurgence of hope. The allies they brought together rallied to Jack's cause, marking a shift not only in corporate dynamics, but also a profound personal evolution. Gone were the days of silent grievances. He was a man who raised his voice. Finally, the moment erupted. a board meeting called to address underlying worker grievances, a culmination of their efforts. Each of the presentations meticulously crafted, each testimony prepared, would serve as a stark contrast to the emotionless bottom-line agendas. Jack stood among former colleagues, transformed from an outsider into someone integral as he faced Alex across the polished conference table. "Today isn't just about numbers," Jack began, finding a solidity he hadn't recognized in himself before. "It's about lives, about the very people whose hard work has gone unvalued for too long. We're presenting not just facts, but the stories behind those facts." As Jack spoke, he could see the walls around the board's expectations shatter. The intensity with which he addressed the room rallied others, reclaiming not just the dignity of the workforce, but also his relationship with his own past. The echoes of his father's lessons rang clear. Courage stemmed from action, righteousness demanded fortitude. Jack followed through relentlessly. When the final testimonies resonated, ripples of empathy infused the air. He finished with a call to realignment. The audience's response was a wave of applause, but more importantly, he witnessed a tangible shift in Alex's reaction. The man once wrapped in calculated superiority began to lean back, uncertainty flickering across his expression, a window of opportunity opening just wide enough for Jack to seize. Later, he felt the gravity of change. Having stepped into that room haunted by his father's legacy, Jack emerged resolute, a victor in his quest for redemption. This triumph was not defined merely by the board's decisions, but in the promise of camaraderie, propelled by integrity that promised better days ahead. As Jack left the boardroom, his heart surged with certainty. He shared a contemplative look with Claire, who had become more than a partner. She was a driving force for transformation that ignited his raw potential. "What do we do now?" Claire inquired, her optimism palpable. "Now," Jack replied, feeling lighter than air, "now we carry this momentum forward for our community, for those around us. I've finally realized that our struggles hold the key to our future." In that moment, Jack stood not just as a man who had reclaimed his narrative, but as someone who possessed the power to inspire others to do the same. There was a sense of satisfaction in each step he took toward the car, confidence emanating from him like lighthouse beams guiding those lost at sea. He understood that every battle he fought would shape his identity and redefine his purpose. And with that newfound strength locking in place, he saw a future built not only upon dreams, but upon courageous actions, the hallmark of a life well lived. In that decisive moment of transformation, Jack concluded, it wasn't just about defeating corporate indifference, it was about embracing one's true self, igniting a revolution that transcended limitations, and cultivating relationships founded on trust, respect, and genuine connection. There was power in this journey, and he harnessed it fully. Jack emerged as his own hero, ready to change not only his narrative, but the very fabric of the world around him. You need to subscribe now to witness more exclusive stories of personal triumph. Leave a like now to fuel our journey. Your support makes a colossal difference. Comment your thoughts and insights on this powerful conclusion. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel inspired today. Don't wait even one more second to spread the motivation.